So this is part 6 of my series of videos explaining how I'm making D12 brake third, the Great Western Railway in the late 19th, early 20th century. And I left it in the end of part 5 with a couple of bits to sort first, and this was the texturing of the corridor sides. So what I'm going to do is planar those to bring them back to something like what I need, and bring those in a bit and move it over. Probably stretch it a little bit back. And keeping an eye down here, let's make sure texture correction's on. I'm going to raise those just a little bit, see what I can get away with. Pretty much that. And I think I need to reduce that a little bit and move it over a little bit there. There we go. And well, we've still got a little bit of kink there, but nothing like this bit here. So I'm prepared to live with that. And on the other side, let's just try and see what we've got there. The other side doesn't look too bad for some reason. Yeah, it's very similar. Okay, so that's that one. And this one definitely needs work done to it. Edit that. And I'm just wondering here, if I planar map it but then I shrink it vertically, because I've actually got a lip there, so I think that's going to look better. I can just then reduce this, bring it into play, maybe raise the whole thing a little bit more. Yeah, that's better. And I think I'll go back and do the other one like that as well, rather than live with it. And this one, planar first, then bring it, shrink it down a bit, vertically, and then bring in and move it over a bit. Yeah, I think that's okay. Right, yes. Now we'll leave those. So now we've got all of the corridors done. And the other thing I need to do is sort out the seating. Right, yes, I suppose the first thing to do is to get the actual texturing done. So let's go up to our textures, and I'm going to remove that one. That's the first class seating, so now we're just back to the base mesh colour. Third class seats, and this sort of dull brown colour. And as we saw, you take away the handrests, the armrests. Okay, so there's our third class seating. Now we just got to put the passengers in, and I've got some passenger attachment points, and it may be with a corridor, but we're still going to get 4 passengers. We would get 3 first class passengers across the seats, but we get 4 third class. Third class not only get less space, it's almost like the assumption is they're less well fed than the first class So I'm more or less just by eye judging between the edge of that seat there and the edge of that seat there, and then what I'm going to do is ungroup them and let's just move these in, these two, so they're not actually sitting in the corridor, and then I'm just going to fudge these up. So that's probably about right. Just going to move these four over a bit. Okay, and then I'll pick that up. Pick up all of the passenger attachments. Just check here, 1 to 8, yeah. Selecting all of those, I'm going to group them. And then I'm going to clone them to the next compartment and clone them again for the third compartment. And this is a lavatory in here, and down here we've got a lavatory as well. And now I need to put the door in either side of the entry into the guard's luggage section, and so I'm just going to lift my door, which is there. I'm going to lift a clone. That's going the wrong way, isn't it? So let's just clone that. There we go. And I'm going to put that just here. Let's just zoom down on that. Top of that. Here it is. Here's our door. It's just a flat plane, just to create the effect of a door. And I'll clone it again. And rotate it round, and that gives me the door into the to from the guards section. There we are. Now I also have some problems with the partitions along here, so that's my next part to check. In fact, what I'm going to do is that's a curve, that's a curve. What I'm looking at is aiming to find the partition which has got a curve on the outside. Let's just check that vertices. Yeah, so that has okay. It's too close to the outside. I think I am picking up an edge. Yep. So let's just bring that in a bit. Picking up the relevant vertices and just tuck them in the middle. There we are. And then we've got some. Oops, that's the wrong one. Let's just check here. One here. I think that may be a problem. Yep. What have we got down there? And we've got a problem here as well. So that hasn't come in enough. Still seeing the red of the. So I'm going to bring that in. It should be enough. So this one. So that's single-sided, and that's no good because I've got to bring in the corridor. It's on the corridor, so it's just the one, wasn't it, that I checked. Yep, so I'm going to take a clone of that and just bring it forward to near this one. Here we are looking down on it. So if I bring that into position, and then I'm going to edit the vertices. I know that those are okay, so if I edit that, first of all maybe bring it a little bit tighter, and then pick up these two and bring them over to this one, making sure that doesn't affect down. No, that's going to be a problem there as well. So if I take it back, I think what I need to do is to have a piece that doesn't. There we are. So, and that's the old one. Take that away, and then those are the two doors. So we're going to move that one there, and that one to there. There we are. And now we've got one more of these to do, I think. So for that one, all I'm going to do is clone this one. Take it up to it, just beyond it. Okay. Just beyond it. So if I draw that back here, that's okay, and I'm going to delete part of it, and then I'm going to group it, delete that. I think let's tidy those compartment partition sections up. I've got a piece there. Tempted to take an end here. Let's have a look. See what we've got. Okay. This is the sort of little fiddly bit that you always have to deal with on these. So I'm going to move that to there and make it 37 feet. So that's just no, it's not going to be exactly 37, is it? So let's have a look at the vertices. If I say, so what I'm doing is I'm eliminating the curve at the bottom of this end piece. So it's now only curving in one direction. Okay, so that's made those all in line there. And then if we look down from the top, and what I'm going to do is clone that. and join it together. We get a single editable poly, and I'm going to replace the one I replaced, my replacement of the one through to the guard section. Just this one, please. This one here. Take that out. Drop this between the two doors, and let's have a look. Okay, I've still got the line there, so what I'm going to do is select that and slightly shrink it on the X axis. So it's that amount there and that amount there, which should lose that line. There we are. Okay, so I think we're there on that. Let's just bring back whatever I unhide whatever I hid. So there we are. That looks very much like D12 break third, and so I'm going to save that. Should have been saving it much sooner. And save it as version D12 2.2. And I think I've got all my attachment points there and everything's done. Must have been a spacer or something I was using. Oh yes, that's right, for the bogies, wasn't it? Appear to require two of them. Anyway, there we are. So we've got the bogies in the right place. We've got the attachment for the doors. Should be in the middle. Let's have a look at our attachment points. Ungroup those. Corridor at one end, then back, then front. Let's have a look here. Select the load attachments. Ungroup. Another look at what we've got. It's the guard. Okay. And have we got any other attachment points here? There should be one right in the middle, which gives us the location for the doors, and I don't see it, so I'm going to add one in straight away. So I'm going to call that doors. That's the attachment point that will tell the doors where to appear on the model. There we are. So that's that. Okay, now we're ready to split it all up again, because we've got the overall model, and I'm just going to save it once more and save it as once more. And I'm going to save it as version 3.1 now. And the first thing I'm going to do is pick up my, this is where I'm starting to split up the model into the components that I need. So I'm going to, and that means that includes, that's going to be the doors, things like that. So first of all, this is going to be the main body. So I want to lose, from the main body I want to lose the doors, because they're animated, so they will appear separately. And back we go the other way. and I'm going to unhide all, and I'm going to see how many groups we've got. Lots of groups, which we're now going to ungroup. And I always check that it's not possible to ungroup again. Let's just make sure we've got no groups. Okay, so that's the body that's it done, the body of a carriage. So let's save that and save it as D12 3.2, having already saved it as 3.1. Okay, so that's our final version. Now let's go back to our 2.1 version, and this is going to be where we separate the doors out. So instead of, I'm going to select each door in turn, and I'm going to hide it. Okay, that's an attachment point, don't need to worry about that. So let's just see if we can just pick them all up. Hide those. And just delete. Everything else is going to get deleted anyway. I just realised I've made a mistake. And we'll hide those, and we'll select the rest and delete it. Unhide all the doors, and we'll just save that for the moment as brake third version 3 doors. Let's just save that like that. Let's go back to our version 3.2, and there's some details that are missing. The grab handles to the side of the doors are missing, and also the lettering on the side, and we've got grab handles here. Look, as you can see, they're still here in the model, but they're all in the wrong place, so that's no good at all. So what I need to do is to pick these up in pairs and move them so they appear either side of the door. That's still not the whole story because they're in the wrong position laterally. And pick up another pair. 1, 2. Oops, that's hopeless, isn't it? It's not the way to do it. And then we've got the guard's door. But you'll notice that although the one on that side is okay, the one on this side isn't, because it's on the bucket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to adjust that. So I'm just going to leave that in the middle there for the moment to remind me. And here I need to delete that because those are all double doors. Okay, right, now next thing is let's have a look, see if I've got the GWR letters there now. Into position, okay, let's have a look. Look like they're actually in the right place, so I don't need to worry about those. So the next thing to do is a little bit of lettering, and only the first class carriages had the crest. Everything else had just the lettering, ornate lettering. I think it's 9 inches by 1 foot, and we certainly don't need those segments. They would be a waist and GWR letters. There they are. And I shall move those up and to the right, bringing in underneath the loo. Quite appropriate. But of course they're in the middle of the model at the moment. So let's just find them. There they are. So we'll move them out till they appear. There they are. Just appeared down here. And 311,969. Right, let's make that 4 foot. Let's make it stand out a bit. And I shall position another set around here, I think. See how that looks. I think they're a little big actually. I thought it was 9, I think it might be 8 by, yeah, that's better actually. Oops. 8. I was trying to try and find if there's a standard position for these, but it doesn't appear to be. Let's see if it looks better there. Yeah, I think so. So we'll delete that one, and we'll pick up that one, and we'll move it across to the other side. And rotate it. By taking it up to the Y, and the position needs to be 4 foot. Okay, let's have a look at the other side, just to make sure. That's okay there. And then I shall edit, clone, okay, and position it. Yeah, and that's on the other side of the carriage. And that I think will give us our, finally give us our carriage. That's our version 3.2. And I shall also say it's 3.1. Okay, and now what I'll do is open the doors section again. So this is just the doors, and on the doors, and working on the doors, we always work on the top down view rather than any other. Must be absolutely right with this. And the first thing to do is to include a dummy and call it something like, well, the BR is the indicating it's the dummy, and then I zero it so we've got it in the center, and then bring in another dummy, call it BR door left 01. Now I know it's over on the right, but it's as it were if you're standing on your head, and bring it in, and it needs to be on the section that you're going to pivot, which is just not there because that's where the handle is, so we're going to pivot it down. This is where the hinge is going to be. Okay, and we're going to animate it, and need to set up the length. I always use 30, that seems to be the sort of, oops, not 309, that always seems to be for doors anyway. I've used it for considerably more than that, so we're at frame 30 for considerably more than that when trying to animate various things up my ironstone. And we want X and Z, no, don't we? And then we rotate it 90 degrees and then jump it back and then just watch it. There we are. So it's going to be the animation. So now what I can do is I can clone that, just guess, and it's going to be 02, 03. I'm going to position them correctly in a minute. 04, 05, 06. These are all hinged on the right, and then I go in and I make dummy door left 07, and get this into position, centering it on. So these are the bits that are curved under at the bottom of the door. So I'm centering on the right hand edge of the main part of the door, which comes up here, vertically comes up here. And I need to animate this, so by frame 30 I want it to be 90 degrees that way. Let's jump it back and just play it. There we are. Jump it back. So that's door 07, and now I can do that for door left 08. Okay, there we go, and I shall just position these. The X coordinate this way is correct, it's just the Y coordinate where I've just dumped it there. That one's correct, just done that. That one needs to come down, and that one needs to go up. Okay, and then just check, ungroup everything and make sure everything is ungrouped. Okay, so now we're going to turn off animation. We're going to select everything there, and we're going to attach it to door left 01. I actually pulled those wrong. So what should happen now is the door will open. Yeah, there we go. But I've misspelt these. Door left 07, that's correct, and door left 08. Okay, right, now we just pick this up, and that goes to door 2, and this goes to this one here, door 3. See, it just briefly highlights. Door 4, and well, door 7, yeah, that one highlighted, and that's to door 5, that's door 8, and that is to door 6. Okay, so if we now look at them in perspective view, that's these ones over here. There they are. Opening and closing like crazy things. And all you need to do is make sure that it's picked up with glass, all the sections of the mesh. So let's go back up to here and just do the same with door right. Dummy in first, the first one. BR door right 01, and just move it over and down a bit. Move it over. Oops. Yeah, and let's animate that. Go to 30, and we're going this way. Jump back. Sure. Okay, yeah. Get back to the 0. Okay, so that's door right 1, and we can just we can now just clone. Three, 4, 5, 6. Let's make number 7. Move it into place. Okay, so it's door 7. And of course what I'm carrying, by cloning them, I'm carrying the rotation animation with them. It all doing the same rotation. Right, and that one will be right, so this one, let's go a little fraction. Whoa. Okay, so we just repeat the process now. All of this gets attached to BR door right 1. And that gets to door right 2. That gets attached to door right 3. To door right 4. And you probably guessed it. Highlighted it briefly there when it attached it, and then this goes to 7 there, and this one goes to 8. Okay, and then what we do is select all of the doors, all of the dummies, and link them to, that should be the only one they can link to because all the others. So we've got a tree. You look at the tree, there we are. We've got the BR main is the trunk, then these are the branches, and these are the twigs attached to the branches. and they're all attached to the trunk. And if we then have a look in our perspective view, everything's opening except this one. Oh no, there's a couple there that aren't opening. That's because I forgot to animate the dummy. So we just go straight back in, doesn't really matter. Make sure the animation turned on, turn it to 90 degrees, like this, and pull down the next one. To 90 degrees, there we are, and let it jump back, deselect, animate, just try it out, there we are. Okay, so that's as far as I'm going to go in this section, and in the next section what I shall do is I shall split these into two lots, left hand doors and right hand doors, produce the night mode and the shadow, and unless it's a very long, it's taken a long time, I'll then proceed to show you how to bring it into trains and make a first attempt of loading the carriage into trains and see how many of the many faults, which I've no doubt done, appear in trains. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment or a question if you wish. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, or even found that it was a perfect cure for insomnia, and please subscribe to my channel.